Good morning and happy Eid al-Adha. Welcome to my third episode on my third failure, though not in chronological order, but something that I also found very educative. Again, I'll try to keep it short, keep it interesting so that we can always look forward to this. Since it's a monologue, it may appear like I need to do something totally different, or it may appear I will try to keep it short so that we can always learn something from what I failed, from what I went through. And today I'm technically looking at my primary school failure, and I went to school in St. Peter's Mumias Boys Primary. It's a very lovely school. The food was terrible. Uh, Performance-wise, it was performing very well. In terms of gymnastics, we were the best in Kenya. We were actually winning most of the contests that were being held, and there I was. My brother had gone through the same school, and therefore I went through the same school because he succeeded from the school, and I was supposed to succeed from the school, and therefore I joined the school. My brother, kudos to him, he's one very sharp person. He focuses on life, he achieves what he wants, and I'll not discuss about him, but he's shaped me a lot. So when I joined Mumias Boys Primary School, I started just as a ruffian. I was just a player. I was playing football still. That's still always my joy. And I remember this specific story that used to go about because St. Peter's Mumias Boys was a Catholic primary school. Now, we had a Catholic church in between, and then two boys' schools on the left, two girls' schools on the right. So, just immediate after the church, we had St. Peter's Mumias Boys Primary, then we had St. Peter's Mumias Boys High School. On the other side, we had St. Anne's Primary School, and then we had St. Mary's Girls High School. That was the order. And I think they were very strategic in doing that because they wanted to avoid a lot of mingling and a lot of issues. However, vijana ni nani? Guys had found a way of sneaking from the high school to the church. And ladies would equally sneak. Were they really ladies? No, they were girls. Girls would also sneak from the secondary school and meet in the church. And they would date, they would get to know each other, and they would get to hang out. Now, over time, in St. Peter's Primary, boys in class 7 and class 8 started graduating in doing the same kind of an activity. And it was kind of automatic. If you're a bad boy, you'd reach class 7, and automatically the first thing you would do is you would learn about kuruka fence. And when you jump over the fence, you would go over to the church, you would meet a random lady, you would start talking, you would share ideas, you'd talk about nothing, talk about where you come from. Technically, you'd even talk about maragwe yenye umekula lunchtime. And me being a good boy, I had never attempted to do that. And I attempted to do that courtesy of a friend of mine again. Now, this friend of mine was called Humphrey. Humphrey was the son of a soldier, so everybody in school called him Jeshi. Humphrey had a girlfriend in St. Anne's Primary, and so the girlfriend told Humphrey, please come with your friend next time. And the friend was definitely me. We had one of the harshest deputy principals I've ever met. We used to call him Kipepeo. Now, this guy was a real Kenyan ninja. Mark my words. Kipe would appear anywhere. You're just somewhere doing wrong, you just maybe sneaking out of class, you're out of preps, maybe eating your own bread under the bed, and all of a sudden you'll hear, kijana, unafanya nini? And he could never cane you more than three strokes. For some reasons, this guy's caning was worse than an electric shock. We feared this guy, and nobody ever wanted to meet Kipe on the wrong side. So Humphrey motivated me, told me about how the fruits on the other end were good, how I should just try it, how I've been a very lazy person, how I just need to experience life. And peer influence is real, friends. As you watch this, keep in mind peer influence is there 100%. However, me ni nani, I decided let me venture out. So I said, let's skip town. Let's go to the church. Let me meet the lady that I was being introduced to and see how things are going to be. And I'll never forget it. It was on a Saturday evening. Guys had gone to entertainment. We were watching a movie, so we sneaked out. It was around 7:30, if I'm not wrong. So we sneaked out. Then we had to go. Then for some reasons, there were issues. People could not jump over the fence. There were fear that the pastor, the padres, and the fathers and the brothers. I think they're the brothers, the Catholic, mm, the male monks in the Catholic. For some reasons, they had very bad dogs. Let me just call it for what it is. They are these really big German shepherds, and I wondered why would a church have German shepherds? I mean, to me, it beats logic. A church is protected by God. A church is protected by the Holy Spirit. Why do we have dogs? Not just dogs, German shepherds. So I felt okay. We hung around the school, hung around, and then all of a sudden, before you realize it's around 10:30. Guys had gone to sleep. People used to go to sleep at 9. The bell had rung. Everything had gone off. So now we jumped over the fence and went to the church. When we jumped over, we met the the girls who had come, and technically people started just breaking up and talking and talking and talking and talking. And I wouldn't want to lie, I can't remember the name of the lady I was actually talking to, but I just remember it was one of the briefest introductions I've ever had. I met this girl and I introduced myself and I said, hi, hi, I'm Joseph. Then she introduced herself with her name. And then just before I knew it, I had guys were running left, right, and center. And the mantra in those days, it's still the mantra in Kenya. How many of you have seen somebody on the streets? People are running in one direction. You don't know what they're running from, and all of a sudden you join and you start running in that direction. That was me in that particular moment. At the heat of the moment, I just started running. Running, then all of a sudden, I'm not one of the fastest runners. I'm actually a very slow runner. Sometimes that's why maybe I played certain positions in the field because I couldn't run. Why would I run? I mean, it's tiresome. And then the next thing I had were a few bucks behind me. Then I realized that, oh, man, we're running away because of the dogs. And the angels took over and I flew like nobody's business and jumped over the fence, and I did a very fast sprint. I think that was the fastest I've ever run in my whole life. I ran, got into bed and covered myself, and I was like, oh God, if nothing happens, I'm actually going to be a brother. There's a name I'm trying to figure out that we used to call them. I actually said I'm going to be a father because I really realized that my first trial at romance was actually about to end miserably. So there I was in bed and I was actually technically praying and praying and praying. And then the next thing I could hear was tuck, tuck, tuck. Of course, we knew that walk. That had to be Kipe. Kipe was walking into the dome and he was walking straight. He walked, and my heart was in my hand. I was like shaking like nobody's business. I felt the world was about to end. And I knew I would succeed because I mean, I was in bed, nobody would notice. For some reasons, Keeper stopped by my bed and you could clearly feel that the guy had stopped there. And then the next thing I heard was somebody caning me. Amka, amka kijana. And of course you have to pretend. So I removed the blanket and I was pretending like I'm yawning. Oh. And then he said, kijana, unaweza kuwa unakufa na unajifanya unalala. So I was like, minalala. Then he asked, hii damu yote ni ya nani? And then I started feeling soggy. The bed was soaked. So I removed the blanket and my leg was really bleeding. When I jumped over the fence, Fox, I really hurt myself, my leg. And instead of being caned, I had to be taken to the hospital first. I was treated there. And then on Monday morning, of course, I knew what was going to come. So the whole parade was called, and I was actually referred to as the lover boy of the school. And the caning began. And Kipe did his best. He actually gave me 4 strokes. I screamed like a child, and I was one of the hardest hardcores in schools. It was the most embarrassing moment in terms of trying to date, in terms of trying to go out there in the field. And what I learned from there is that everything has its right time. Many times, folk, we keep thinking that we are doing the right thing, even in life, socially. My social lesson to us today is you don't need to get every girl that you think you want to go out for. You don't need to get to do something because people are succeeding in it. Many a times we see people driving. I'll share one of my latest experiences that I just happened that I got out of last week. But many times we see people getting out of problems. We see people driving and you always wonder where can they drive? You see a man dealing in wash and you wonder, can I join and also start getting money from there? But remember, 1 month's luck doesn't mean it's your luck. I tried because I felt it was the right thing to do. I tried because I felt every other guy was doing it. I felt because Humphrey had a very nice girl and he was successful at it. But notice how much I failed. Mm. So my appeal in these whole stories that I'll be telling, I may not share the lessons at the end of the day. I may take it as a slow discussion, but at the end of the day, let's pick the lessons. Laugh at my pain, but pick lessons from my pain. I may not be a comedian, but my life is a comedy. And in my comedic life, I may inspire somebody's life. In my comedic life, I may teach a young man who is already doing such things to realize that not all things end in success. Not every hunt is successful. Research shows that when a lion goes to hunt, it is only successful in less than 10% of the chase that it is doing. That is my caption, guys. Till next time. Adios.